So, as you guys probably know, North Korea has been in the news recently a lot. Remember in 2016 when they claimed to have tested a hydrogen bomb? And then there are all those ICBM tests. That's an acronym for Intercontinental Ballistic Missile. In other words, missiles that could potentially reach the United States. Now, they're talking about getting rid of their nuclear weapons and joining the global community. How do we know what's going on? You know, just for fun, raise your hand if you think that you could point out where North Korea is on a map. So I'll give you guys a moment to look at the map. A poll conducted last year by the New York Times found that out of the 1,700 people surveyed, only 36% were able to correctly identify North Korea. And as you can see, it is indeed country B. Now, why do we care where North Korea is located? We know its leaders seem determined to stir things up in the world all the time, and we definitely don't want them to have a greater nuclear capability than they already have. But what if I told you that there is at least some evidence that knowing where this tiny country is on the map affects how people think we should handle this volatile situation via either a military solution or a diplomatic solution? Out of the 36% of people who knew where North Korea was, an overwhelming majority of them supported diplomatic strategies to handle North Korea's nuclear weapons and ICBMs. On the other hand, respondents who didn't know where North Korea was favored military action. So, why do you think that is? Well, if people know where North Korea is located, then you could also assume that they can recognize the three countries that North Korea shares borders with: China, South Korea, and even an 11-mile strip with Russia. South Korea and China, along with Japan, are some of our biggest trading partners, accounting for nearly $900 billion in trade with the United States in 2016 alone, and that's billion with a B. South Korea and Japan are some of our closest allies, and Guam is a U.S. territory. Together, they house countless U.S. military installations with lots of American soldiers. Even if a North Korean ICBM carrying a nuclear warhead couldn't directly hit the U.S. mainland, they could certainly kill millions of people, families, and American soldiers in our allies and territories. So knowing a bit of geography really helps here, right? So, any guesses from the audience as to the biggest trading partner of the United States? Which country constitutes for the largest amount of money that flows between it and the U.S.? Any guesses? China, correct. Y'all are right, China. Wow, good job. So, geography plays an extremely important role in recognizing multinational economic opportunities and how to benefit from them. This is called economic geography. For example, if one country produces lots of machinery, like Germany, and another country with a growing population doesn't have the required skilled workforce to produce their own goods, like Niger, we can use geography to determine the best possible trade agreement in this specific scenario: bilateral with two countries or multilateral with three or more countries. Geography also plays an extremely important role in regional trade agreements, such as NAFTA, where the wants and needs of geographically close together countries would be similar, and businesses would have a uniform set of guidelines to follow. So we can see that in all sorts of agreements and economic protocols, geography plays an extremely important role in determining A, who we make these agreements with, and B, which goods qualify. Now, looking at it from the consumer's perspective, the two professional fields that are expected to grow the largest in terms of job openings over the next 5 years are healthcare and business. As business becomes more global throughout the world, with the expansion of new high-speed transcontinental commuting and lots of job opportunities, the knowledge of geography is also becoming ever so more important. There are other situations in which geographic knowledge is equally as important. Knowing the interactions of humans and their natural resources can help us localize solutions for environmental and agricultural obstacles that people face today. One main example and important point of new innovation is the expansion of renewable resources. We can use geography to figure out which type of energy harnessing source or irrigation system people could use in different parts of the world to get the best possible results depending on their climate or natural resources. In other public affairs throughout the world, geography plays an extremely important role in solving problems that could potentially affect hundreds of millions of people throughout the world. So here I have 4 cities: Cape Town, South Africa, Istanbul, Turkey, Beijing, China, and Sao Paulo, Brazil. Does anyone have any guesses as to what these 4 cities have in common with each other? Take a shot. Okay, lots of people, that's good. Anyone else? Water, okay. So, nice guess on the water, actually. These cities are some of the most likely to face a dramatic shortage of drinking water for their citizens over the next half century. We can use geography to understand why this is true and to come up with a solution that will help all of these people in different parts of the world come up with unique solutions of their own for this common problem. So, when we see all of these benefits to geography in real life, what should we do about it to help society? One solution might be to require more geographic education in schools. However, that would only affect one segment of the population and not the ones who, at least for now, have much more power to influence public policy. The real question is, how can we promote geographic awareness among all of our citizens, not just young people? We need something fun, something interactive, and that'll get people moving and excited about geography. Well, how about a National Geography Day to highlight geography's importance in the real world? I mean, we already have a National History Day filled with fun events and competitions to highlight history's importance in the world, and a U.S. Science and Engineering Festival, so why not a commemorative time period for geography? Now, I'm a student, so I have a lot more ideas about how geography could be highlighted in schools. For example, on this one day, teachers could make sure that their entire lesson content in all subjects somehow relates to geography, not as some isolated topic, but as it connects to all disciplines. Lesson content could be taught through the lens of geography with a unique emphasis on how it could be applied in the real world, how it actually impacts students' lives and affects their futures. In core classes such as science, math, and English, students could explore for a day how the topics they are already learning in school could be applied in a geographic context. In electives, students could study high-interest topics where geography plays an important role, maybe something about the upcoming World Cup in PE, or how different countries are manufacturing and innovating on technology and AI in a STEM or robotics class. We could even tie this event in with the National Geographic Bee, a geography competition for all 4th through 8th graders in the United States that's meant to motivate students to think globally and care more about our planet using 21st century skills. Full disclosure here, I myself have participated in the National Geographic Bee more than once, and I actually won the national competition in 2016. But that doesn't influence my opinion, so let's move on. What can you do? Well, you can help advance this goal by calling, texting, or writing your elected officials, not just the ones in Congress or state legislatures, but at all levels, including school board members, to help adopt a think globally, act locally mindset and make National Geography Day a reality. We could even set up a website to garner enough support for this event nationwide. Just imagine how better geographic knowledge could open up opportunities for my generation and the ones who come after us. With greater geographic understanding, students could be more aware of the opportunities and challenges that exist in the wider world. Deeper geographic knowledge could help them recognize and take advantage of opportunities in whichever field they decide to go into later on in life. Now, I could keep going on and on about how a National Geography Day could be used to help improve geographic literacy among all age groups, but time is limited, and that's not my area of expertise yet. However, I encourage all of you to keep thinking about the importance of geography in the real world and how you can help spread that message and help us get geography on the map, as it were. Please do your part in promoting geographic literacy and a better understanding of how we interact with each other and our one and only planet. Thank you.